Hey, JulesBlessedVegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So I just wanted to check in real quick with my JBV peeps. Hi, y'all. I just wanted to share this important icon. You know, it's so true. I was realizing the luxury that people have in terms of wasting things, right? Because I was just learning that in Japan, they are having a serious crisis on people just not having enough food, like as a country. Well, that's certainly not the case here in America, where the waste is astronomical, and I see it every day, especially in the school setting. It's so sad. Because the reason those children get extra food is because they're considered, low income, and yet they still decline, many of them, out of pride or whatever, to even take the food, and inevitably a ton of food is discarded at the end of the day, which is so terrible. And oh my gosh, I saw this precious man, and he didn't speak English, and he was just sitting under a tree in 100+ weather, right? And I thought, that guy needs money. And by God's grace, literally, I had $20. So I drove over and said, "Hi, do you need money?" And he started speaking Spanish. And I said, and I held up the money. And he looked and he said, in kind of broken English, "I need food." And I said, "Well, this $20 will help you get some food, right?" And it was just like, I thought, how much, excuse me, something's getting me. Wow. How much excess I have, right? I mean, some people just give their pigs a half a cup of pig food, pellets, and they're good twice a day. That pig eats like the most blessed raw vegan on the planet for things that I allow to expire too quickly. For when I'm eating nonsense and my food, goes, or I decide that it's not perfect enough. So I'll give it to the horses or the pig. That's a luxury, an embarrassing luxury, by virtue of really living in America. So I was very humbled by this man, and he kept calling me chula. Gracias, chula, gracias, chula. And I was like, chula, okay. And I said, I was like, I think it was Vaya con Dios, which is, go with God. And then I pulled away. So I actually looked up chula, and this was an older man. He was like the age of a grandfather. And it said hot. And I was like, dang, in any language. Apparently in any language, I am hot. But then in like the description underneath, it said, rather than a sexual term, it was a very kind gesture for recognizing a beautiful face, but beautiful in the sense of like welcoming and kind, right? And I thought, oh my gosh, how sweet is that? He kept calling me chula. Like, for that moment, I was God. I was God's light and grace for that man. And then at the end, he said, trabajo, like work. And I said, no, I'm good, and he said, I work for you. I come do your yard. And I thought, it's really interesting. We can give all day long, right? But unless the person is allotted some pride in the transaction, not only is it kind of meaningless, but it can really take their pride. It can really just make them feel worthless. Which is why so often when people are like, but I gave it all for free and they didn't even care and they weren't even grateful. No one is more grateful than when they actually have to work for or earn whatever it is. Like, it's just the human condition, right? And it's going to be a poor example for the vegans in the group, but give a man a fish, you feed him for a meal. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Well, it's kind of that same thing. And that man wanted to say, thank you for your money. Thank you for your kindness. But know that I'm worthy and that I can work. So beautiful, so beautiful. I was crazy humbled and just thought, oh, I am in transition, people. I need some serious change in my life. I don't know what it looks like yet, but I need some serious change in my life. So then I saw this and I thought it was really good because it said, your terrible job is the dream of the unemployed. Your house is the dream of the homeless. Your smile is the dream of the depressed. Your health is the dream of those who are ill. Don't let difficult times make you forget your blessings. Word, you know? It's just so easy to get into the woe's me, you know, when in fact we are so incredibly blessed. And seriously, when that man dared to say he was hungry, I thought, when was the last time I was hungry? I am so provided for that I can choose to intermittent fast. Are you kidding me? Like a really arrogant choice of knowing that everything will be available to me when I feel like it. That is not the case for so many people in the world. And it was just kind of God. I was talking to my younger sister, and she was saying, you know, you chose summer school. You chose to do summer school when you didn't have to. You specifically said you didn't have to. And sometimes it's just easier to stay in your comfort zone than to dare to grow. And that was really interesting. And I had to reflect on that a minute. So it turns out that my husband's going to need surgery. He has a double hernia, which he's had for some time, but it's gone in a really bad direction. And I guess it can become so toxic that it can literally end up killing you. And I think it's a lot of the constant inflammation and pain that he experiences, but he's just so determined to stay working. But at the risk of what? I mean, so great. You worked till you literally died. The work literally killed you. Like, come on. We can trust God to provide for us. So anyway, it's true. I did not need to teach summer school, but they did beg for people. A bunch of people did not do it. And these kids need teachers, and it's only half the summer. We get 2 months off. The first month is summer school. The second month is ours. So I thought at the time, I can be that person. I can be light for those kids. The other thing that I did mention is that it helps me to have a schedule, because I've seen myself before. I seem like I'm on all the time, but I will tell you, I struggle with clinical depression. It's been true for me for years. It's still true for me. There's a darkness of oppression over me that I have to literally pull and fight through and move the cobwebs aside to even begin to see the light. And it's something I go through all the time. So when given too much time, I often will fall into a very dark place. I'll sleep till noon if I can. I'll, not participate in anything. I'll get to the point of not wanting to answer phones and certainly not do my video. Part of the reason I push myself to do a daily JBV video is to just keep myself accountable in some form of a pattern, because that darkness, the desire to not speak, the desire to hide, the desire to decide that I'm not worth anything is haunting me all the time. And so when I was really just caught up in all of that at the end of the school year, I had to think to myself, with my husband working, with all the things that are going on, might I choose to not allow myself 2 potential months of nonsense? So the first month I thought, look, I can stay on schedule and I can go ahead and teach summer school. I mean, what's the difference? I've been teaching anyway. I'm in the rhythm of it. And then for July, I was going to honor myself by doing the Tanny Raw Reset. Again, if you haven't heard of Tanny Raw, she's on every social media platform for health. I even have a video on the Tanny Raw Reset. You can still get in. That window will not be closing for about 2 weeks. It is a very gracious $299, which may seem like a lot, but I assure you, you get over 30 hours of live content, a special Facebook group. You get an entire beautiful buffet, if you will, of incredible information that you can pick from and choose and implement in your life. So anyway, 3 years ago, I participated in that for the first time. It went very quick. There was a ton of information. It was a bit overwhelming. And I've spent the last couple of years kind of unfolding it and trying to understand which parts apply to me. So it's a tremendous blessing and I highly recommend it. But anyway, so I thought I'll protect myself in summer school for a month and then I'll go ahead and do the raw reset in July and take care of myself that way, which will be brilliant because I won't be teaching at the same time and I can give it my undivided attention. So I'm super excited about that. What I didn't know, and I'm melting because I rebounded and of course it's 90 degrees. What I didn't know was that my husband would be needing surgery. And so by God's design, that money, which was going to be extra anyway, from summer school will allow us to take care of him. And it's not about having insurance. Praise God, I have insurance as a teacher. But it's paying all the bills that normally we'd be able to pay with his income. So I'm going to trust that all that's coming together and that was God's plan. What my little sister was trying to say was sometimes you don't take that leap of faith to get on with whatever it is because you're in your comfort zone and you don't really want to see what the next process of your growth is. And that is absolutely true. I stayed in school for a really long time. I definitely did my bachelor's. Of course, I had to do a teaching credential, so that was all necessary. And then a few years ago, I went back and did my master's, which I completely rocked. And then I immediately started my doctorate. After a year of my doctorate, I realized I was going in the wrong direction and chose to pull out of that. It's easier for me to prove my ability in things that I'm comfortable with, and that's standard for most of us. Obviously, weight loss and just things to do with my general ability to care for my body has been my greatest challenge by far. I did weigh over 330 pounds. I am under 200 pounds. And so obviously, to some extent, I have some mastery there. I have not got to that next chapter of where I can actually get to the adult body that God had planned for me, which is very healthy and lovely. And I can see it. It's somewhere around 128, I think, is right for me. And I want to honor God in that body, but I continue to block myself. I haven't gotten below 190. I've gone up and down a gazillion times, much like I did from, like 200 to 280, 200 to 280, 200 to 300. Like I lost and gained 100 pounds several times in my adult life. Now, instead of 100, is lose and gain 15 pounds several times in the last couple of years. And I imagine I will break through that wall. I mean, it is certainly my intention. So I just like it when someone challenges me because even if I'm taken aback at first, like, dang, where is this coming from? It's a chance for me to clarify what's true for me and to look at things that I may not have looked at. So I really appreciate that. And of course, people who have your best interest by daring to challenge you are the greatest blessing because I see God through them and I love that. But anyway, I'll keep you posted. I don't know when we're going to be doing that surgery, but I'm praying my husband will have the courage to dare to trust that we'll be provided for and take care of himself. I'm praying for that man that he gets that food. And I loved his pride in saying, hey, I can clean your yard or whatever. I'm not just doing hands out for nothing. I thank God that I was able to help him. And I'm grateful for the reminder of this icon that our seeming burdens at any given time are someone else's blessing. One of the things that I had said, because sometimes I lament, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in 190, And it was like, you know what? Remember that your current weight is someone's goal weight. Like that was a big one. Your current weight that you're fussing over and lamenting is the weight someone is praying to dare to weigh at some point. And so I'm really grateful for that. But I never mind being humbled. I ask God to break and remold me all the time. And And I'm all game for that. You know, there's always hope while we're still breathing. So thanks for letting me share, you guys. Just wanted to check in. Like if you like, join us if you haven't. Subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. And if you can relate to any of this, I would love to hear that too. And until we talk again, best of all, know that you are blessed. Your blessing is what someone's hoping for, right?